Welcome back to Budget Modern. Today I'd like to cover a deck that I call Allies of Growth, a mono-green ally deck that is very much on the aggro side of things, that runs 24 forests and 4 copies of each creature in the deck. So, for our first creature, we have Beastcaller Savant, a 1 generic and 1 green casting cost for a 1/1 that is an Elf Shaman ally that has haste and tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, spend this mana only to cast a creature spell, which honestly won't be a problem, seeing as how the only card types that are ran in this deck are forests and creatures. So to continue on with our mana production, we have Harabaz Druid, a 1 generic and 1 green casting cost, 0/1 human druid ally that has tap, add X mana of any color to your mana pool, where X is the number of allies you control. You do need to keep in mind that this can only produce 1 type of mana per time that you tap it, which obviously in this deck you'll be only tapping for green mana. And so, leads us into our more aggro creatures, starting out with Oran Reef Survivalist, 1 generic, 1 green casting cost for a 1/1 human warrior ally. Whenever Oran Reef Survivalist or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a 1/1 counter on Oran Reef Survivalist. So this creature here can grow pretty large in a short amount of time, but you do have to remember that his ability is a May effect whenever it is triggered. So you do have to remember to actually place that counter on him. Following him, we have Tajuru Archer, 2 generic and 1 green casting cost for a 1/2 elf archer ally. Whenever Tajuru Archer or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, you may have Tajuru Archer deal damage to target creature with flying equal to the number of allies you control. This card here is a great way to remove your opponent's flying threats, seeing as how you don't have any blockers for flying creatures. But with the current rise in vehicles, you will probably see your opponents running a lot more of those, including ones that do have flying. For example, Smuggler's Copter, Aether Sphere Harvester, or similar things like that. And this here will have a very good chance of being able to remove them early to mid-game, even late game. Late game especially, since you will have quite a plethora of allies on the battlefield to help deal more damage to your opponent's flying creatures. After that, we have Greypelt Hunter, a 3 generic and 1 green casting cost for a 2/2 human warrior ally with trample. Whenever Greypelt Hunter or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a 1/1 counter on Greypelt Hunter. This one here is a bit high on the casting cost, but the added ability of trample does help him out quite a bit. Yet again, do not forget that his ability is a May effect on the trigger. After that, we have Joraga Bard, a 3 generic 1 green casting cost, 1/4 elf rogue ally. Whenever it or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, you may have ally creatures you control gain vigilance until end of turn. Not to beat a dead horse here, but yet again, a May effect on the trigger. But I don't really see why you wouldn't take that, seeing as how giving your creatures vigilance is an extremely helpful tactic. That way you can attack your opponent and still be left with your creatures to be able to block next turn. Following that, we have Tajuru Pathwarden, a 4 generic 1 green casting cost for a 5/4 elf warrior ally with vigilance and trample. This one's nice because it already has vigilance and trample both, with a pretty decent power and a fairly good toughness to it. After that, we have Tajuru Warcaller, 3 generic and 2 green for a 2/1 Elf Warrior ally that has Rally. Whenever it or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, creatures you control get +2/+2 until end of turn. This here is a great ally to be able to buff all of your allies up. Anytime you play an ally, it's great for late game whenever you hopefully have 2-3 allies in your hands, have your Harabaz Druid in play, tap it to add quite a bit of green to your mana pool, play, let's say, 3 allies from your hand, and with the trigger from Tajuru Warcaller, your creatures will be getting +6/+6 until end of turn, because of 3 separate triggers. Very nice card to help you beat down your opponent. And for our final card in the deck, one of my personal favorite allies, Turntimber Ranger. 3 generic and 2 green for a 2/2 Elf Scout ally. Whenever it or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on Turntimber Ranger. This is an excellent way to both make him larger and absolutely swarm the field with wolf tokens and allies. It's a great card for this deck to be able to definitely boost up your offensive and defensive, because you can use the tokens to be able to be left there as blockers and your allies as attackers, or vice versa, or just go all out on the offensive. If you like this video and would like to keep up to date with future content that we have, please hit that like and subscribe button. Feel free to leave us a comment in the comment section below if you have any comments or suggestions on things you'd like to see in future videos. Don't be afraid to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/budgetmodern. We'll see you next time.